All right, hello and welcome to Group 10's presentation of Aura by Carlos Fuentes. We will start with the overview of the story and then break it down into individual parts.
Okay, so this is chapter 1. Carlos Fuentes finds an ad in the newspaper for a historian that knows French. He feels as if the ad is made just for him. He decides to take the job and goes to the house, which is completely dark. He meets the senora who created the ad. She wants someone to put her dead husband's memoir together. He takes the job and therefore is living there after seeing Aura, Senora's niece.
Okay, next is about the author, Carlos Fuentes. He was born in Panama City, moved to Mexico City as a teen, helped ignite the Latin American boom of the 1960s, was the son of a Mexican diplomat, draws on techniques of modernism, uses stream of consciousness, and he also uses second person narration.
Okay, so the senora, I'm doing chapters 2 and 3. He settles into his room, which is a bit old-fashioned. Felipe and Aura eat dinner together without Senora. He goes into Senora's room after to find her emotionally and vigorously praying. There's religious objects in the background, and there's like a mural with demons that are smiling. She hands him the key to the trunk that holds her husband's memoir pages, and he works on the memoir. At dinner, Aura and Consuelo start acting odd, and they begin to mirror each other's actions in a dreamlike state. That night, he wakes up from a nightmare to Aura's embrace and agrees to be her to be her husband. Okay, so here's some themes and motifs I found. Identity confusion and imitated existence. An example is, Senora becomes motionless, and at the same moment, Aura puts her knife on her plate and also becomes motionless, and you remember that the senora put down her knife only a fraction of a second ago. So that kind of has to deal with how neither of them really fully have they share like an identity and imitate each other's actions, and when they're together they act the same and they're kind of like the same person. Another theme is time. It's nonsensical. An example is, you have to make an effort in order to evade that look, which once again is wide, clear, and yellowish, free of the veils and wrinkles that usually obscure it. And this is talking about Consuela when Felipe is trying to avoid her gaze. She seems to have become younger. Her wrinkles are gone, and so as if she's gone to the past or de-aged, I guess. A last theme is beauty. The example I have is, you are so proud of your beauty. What would you not do to stay young forever? And this is from Senora's husband's, the general's memoir journal thing. And basically it foreshadows Senora's desperation to hang on to her youth, and she'd do anything to keep it.
All right, so basically going on to chapter 4, it starts with Felipe. Basically, he falls into sleep and he dreams of the women in the house through a crazed state, because beforehand he had witnessed some interesting acts that they were doing of sacrifice and skinning animals. And then through this dream, he pictures both women. One, Consuela, she is the image of death and kind of just wrinkled and shriveled. And then Aura is the vision of beauty, and she's almost where she's a beauty who's battered. Then Felipe turns into a hypnotized state, going through the motions. He's going through the motions so much to where he actually does them out of order and does them out of context. And then it's Aura and Felipe together forever, where basically Felipe meets Aura inside her bedroom, and they start to get physical. And after they do sleep together, afterwards they promise each other to themselves forever. All right. Now, some of the themes inside this section are sacrifice. It's basically performing a ritual with empty air as if she was skinning an animal. In the beginning, the acts that they were performing is that Aura was skinning a young goat, a kid, and Consuela, when Felipe saw Consuela, she was mimicking those actions. And it's basically where though they were doing acts like sacrifice, Aura is almost a sacrifice for Consuela to keep her beauty, as she uses Aura for this. Forgotten objects. There are many objects inside the house that were mentioned as forgotten, including a doll that, a battered doll that Felipe finds on the table, and it's almost as Aura as she is forgotten as well. And so it's where it's not only the objects on the table that are forgotten, but it's also the people inside the house that are forgotten. Green is used often as green taffeta, which is what Aura wears. Aura wears green taffeta, and it symbolizes nature, growth, harmony, freshness, and fertility, which is basically part of the youth and beauty that they have. And nakedness is one of the last themes. It's the purest form of existence, and basically in the bedroom when they're together, they are naked, and it's the form of honesty and truth that keeps everything together. So the last part is Aura's perspective. Basically, what we want to do is take the story and put it into a new perspective as we see it through Felipe's perspective. But Aura, she is a reinterpretation of Consuelo, of keeping her youth and beauty together. And it's the motivation is basically having love, having that lust, having that beauty. And all of her motivations and actions are through that want of having longevity of love and having love forever. And so that's what we see her actions are. Next slide.
Okay, so I'm doing chapter 5, and chapter 5 begins with Felipe becoming fully conscious of other existence in his room. At breakfast, he tries to kind of pull the truth out of Aura and try to get her to run away with him, but she declines. Afterwards, Felipe enters Consuelo's room and grabs the last of what's in the chest. From all that stuff, he finds a picture in which he notices General Llorante looks like him. He becomes exhausted and sleeps until dark. Once waking up, Felipe rushes to Consuelo's room and asks for Aura. After no reply, he enters and heads to the bed, feeling around. Felipe can't resist his urges to kiss and touch her. Afterwards, moonlight enters the room, revealing an old woman instead of Aura. And at the end, Felipe embraces the old woman. Some themes that I thought were important were transcendent love, and a quote that I picked was, you plunge your face, your open eyes into Consuelo's silver white hair. You'll embrace her again when the clouds cover the moon, when you're both hidden again, when the memory of youth re-embodied rules the darkness. And basically this is just saying how in light or in darkness, Felipe's love for Aura or Consuelo is the same love. So regardless of who he has in front of him, the love is still the same one. And the second one is delusion. And the quote I picked for that is, my youth is coming towards me. It's coming in. It's in the garden. It's come back. Consuelo, my poor Consuelo, even the devil was an angel once. And this is basically stating that what Consuelo thinks of in the past as being good, that she wants, her youth that she wants to recapture, has now turned into something that is no longer what Consuelo envisions it as. And Aura's perspective on this, I'm going to talk about the last scene. So there we go. I guess you hear your name called, You remain silent. You hear your name called again, and you still remain silent. The door opens and Felipe comes in. You remain motionless as he walks towards the bed and feels around. It's time to speak. You say, "Don't touch me," and he declines. You say, "Don't touch me" again, and he returns with more ferocity. Um, Feeling around Felipe, um, grabs her body and attempts to kiss her. You realize it's time. The moonlight comes in and reveals your true features. Felipe, unwavered, embraces you and keeps her. Um, that's it. See you. Maybe. I think it's the end. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Yes.